that's one mop boy who don't got to worry about being in the doghouse because Nuggets showed up. But what does this sweep say? Does it mean anything, Dave?
I had a feeling you would ask me first. Uh I don't know. I'm a little conflicted on this. Simply because y'all know how I always say regular season don't matter to me for my team. And that's the Miami Heat. However, the Boston Celtics is a different story.
Okay.
I don't know what they need to do to be able to beat a team in the West. I think they're not. I honestly don't believe they're going to have much of any issues in the East, other than maybe playing against Milwaukee or Miami. That's just me personally.
Mm-hmm.
Now in the West, there are a few teams I think they may not be ready for, and the Nuggets is one of those teams. The Nuggets just play the brand of basketball to where everybody's involved and anybody can step up at any single time.
Mm-hmm.
Jamal Murray can go off. Jokic can go off. Aaron Gordon can go off. Michael Porter Jr. can go off.
Uh-oh.
The doorbell can go
Eddie,
off.
If you,
All right.
we could be alley oop.
Yeah, just out you. I mean, throw it back.
How
I'll
do
be
you
right
about
back.
Jokic and Gordon last night?
So for this one, I'll kind of pick up where I think Dave was going with this one because as soon as he said that, the Nuggets kind of remind me of them old Spurs teams where you got your foundation with your big three, but I think it's a battle between Michael Porter and Aaron Gordon, who's that third in that big three, because we already know Jamal Murray and Jokic. That's the solid foundation right there. And the brand of basketball in which they play is we're going to slow it down. We're not the fastest. We're not going to be the flashiest, but we are going to be efficient. And that's exactly how the Nuggets play. They're efficient. And when we talked about, remember the episode where we talked about it today, we was like, no, Joe, when we talked about who we're going to take, the Celtics or the field. And I kept saying, I'm going to take the field until the Celtics can prove to me that they can beat another team that's in the field. And I brought up the Nuggets being one of those teams in the field. And it seems like something about Boston when they play a team that actually doesn't create too many mistakes, they have to like actually put up or shut up. And J-Mo said it earlier. This is one of Tatum's moments where you can prove that, hey, one, about the face of the league, it's not going to be too much on it. But also, this is an MVP moment. Like, this is one of the best teams in the West. We got to show up and show out. Because you showed up and showed out against the Warriors, but right now the Warriors ain't a top 3 team in the West. Like, we know it's a grudge match because they beat y'all in the finals, but it's not a top 3 team in the West. Like, go beat the top 3 team in the West, and then we're going to look at it a little different. You could beat up on the Pistons, the Wizards, and possibly the Heat every now and then, but everyone says it. It's like, okay, you could beat us in the regular season, but can you beat the Heat when it count? A lot of people, man, it's hard when they get hot outside. It's easy to stay cold. But when it get hot and that's sweating, you gotta be like, whoo, you turn into Nelly and you want to take everything off, then you might get embarrassed once you take all them clothes off. So that's what it's looking like. Dave, I'm gonna let you finish. But for me, I don't think it means anything as far as like for the regular season, but it does have a psychological advantage over them where it's like, man, you have to beat this team.
Yeah, that's kind of sort of what I was alluding to. And I don't. So let me fix my statement. I don't know if it's any other team other than the Nuggets that the Celtics might have issues with. I think they'll be fine if they play Minnesota or if they play OKC. For one, they got much more experience than they do. So I think they'll be prepared for either one of those teams. Now, the Nuggets, like I said, the Nuggets is the one team that I feel like just they're just so well rounded, no matter who it is. And with last year, they weren't known as a defensive team. Well, when it came to the playoffs, they were one of the top defensive teams in the playoffs. So that's a team that could just turn the switch on no matter what. And one thing about the Celtics is, are they going to turn the switch on? That's the question that we have about them. Are they going to turn the switch on? Is that going to happen? Now, when they went to the finals 2 years ago, they were the number 2 seed. It's not as if that came out of nowhere. They were number 2 seed. Miami was not expected to be number 1 seed. And that game went to game 7 and they won. But then when they got to the time that it counted, when they needed to step up the most, it didn't happen in the finals. Last year, they were the number 1 seed or number 2 seed and going against the 8th seed, and they just didn't step up when it mattered the most. There's no reason why you should have been down 3-0 to the 8th seed in the East. No matter if it is Miami, no matter who it was, you shouldn't have been down 3-0. And now they have one of the best records that we've at this point in NBA history. You know, they pretty much match what the Celtics did in 2008. And we know that 2008 team actually went and won the finals. So this looks like the team that can go win the finals. But games like that, it's just when your best players need to step up the most. And there's been times where we see Tatum or Brown don't play up to par against against the top team. And that can't happen. When you want to win the championship, your best players need to step up when it matters the most. And especially against the best teams in the league. Like, it has to happen every single time. And not even that they have to put up 35 every single time, but they got to be involved in the game to where they're not the reason why they lose. And that just can't happen for a team like the Celtics, who have the best record in the NBA, have had it pretty much all season long. And, you know, now they're on a 2-game losing streak. I mean, it's just 2 games, but these 2 games I feel like matter because it's against a top team in the East, the Cavaliers, when you were up by 20, and then against a Nuggets team who just won the championship last year. So these are just times where the Celtics need to show we're here. I just want to see that moment. I really don't. I really wish they just hold all these things down. But I want to see that moment to where I'm like, okay, that clarifies that I think they're going to win the title this year.
In 2008, we was different, Lord. Go ahead, Joe.
I think we're over exaggerating on what happened last night. The Nuggets did beat them twice. First of all, this is good for the Nuggets because obviously the Patriots, the Celtics. All right, Teddy Wish, right? The Celtics, they have been the favorites all year. Like, they are the best team in the league. Like, Nuggets fresh off a championship, and people still like, man, the Celtics, if they play their game, they should beat anybody. That's what everybody's saying. So the Nuggets sweeping them this year is telling themselves, like, yo, no matter what the records fall at, like, we're the best team, you know? So this helps the Nuggets. Now, would I say last night's game, it was Jaylen Brown game. All right, Jaylen Brown had it going on. He was hot. Tatum, he was getting good looks. He just wasn't finishing. He was missing layups. And it was just an off game, you know? But Jaylen Brown, the person that didn't play good to me, it wasn't really Tatum. I wouldn't say the Tatum. It was Porzingis. All right, Porzingis is the X factor, and Porzingis yesterday was 9 for 23, and 3 from 10 from the 3-point line, but he was missing shots that we routinely see him make. Like, they'll create the mismatch in the high post. He'll shoot over the small defender and miss. But what that game was yesterday was a very physical game. Like, shout out to referees. Referees created a playoff atmosphere. They let them play, and they were physical with Porzingis. Every time he got the ball in that high post, they had hands on him. And I would say it bothered Porzingis. It did. It really bothered Porzingis. So I think Porzingis more so had a bad game. Now, I know we expect more for Tatum, but, like, it wasn't like Tatum was getting, like, I watched him and said, man, he's getting out physical. It was just an off game for Tatum, to me. That's when I watched it. And Jaylen Brown was on. Porzingis looked bothered, if anything, to me. He looked bothered with the physicality. Even Jamal Murray, you look at Jamal Murray, it looked like he had a great game. Him and Tatum games were kind of similar. He only had 19 points, but it felt like Murray had 30. Because the type of buckets he was getting, like, he was getting buckets, and the type he was making runs by himself. But JOKIC, man, with the Celtics struggle yesterday is their all-ball defense. On ball, they got great defenders. Derek White, Jrue Holiday, Jaylen Brown, Tatum, They got some good on-ball defenders. Man, when the Nuggets start going through the actions, Man, alley-oop, you get an alley-oop. You get an Eric Gordon with his feasting. Y'all was just throwing that joint up, and Eric Gordon right there, like, it was Lob City in the fourth quarter. So they struggled with that with the Nuggets. Like you said, the beautiful ball moving with the Nuggets. You said it, Tom. You compared them to the Spurs.
Yeah.
The beautiful ball movement with the Nuggets, man, it bothered them. And Jokic, when they double Jokic, they didn't really double Jokic. They like, I hate this, man. As a basketball fan, when you post a double team, be disruptive. They just run up to Jokic. Like, bro, be disruptive when you run up there. Like, so they did a terrible job double teaming Jokic. Jaylen Brown and Jrue Holiday. They did a terrible job doubling Jokic. So, but 7-game series, man, that their offense is more fluent because the Celtics is more a lot of one-on-one pick and roll. So, yeah, it means something.
In the first game, it was like 100 to 102, and then this game it was 109 to 115. So those are the kind of games that, like I said, the psychological advantage, because it's like maybe if we tweak something here or if we tweak it there, then we'll be okay. But then those are the games that I have you up all night because you're thinking like, what can we change to actually beat this team? Versus saying like you get blown out like you did the Warriors. You're like, well, if we just play better, maybe we'll be okay. So I don't know. And then what you say about the off-ball defense is just some things that has to change about this team. But do you forget about that while you're going up against the Miami Heat, who has your number? Do you forget about that when you're going up against the Bucks, and then you make it to the finals and you're like, oh man, here we go with this team again.
But that's the issue with Miami. Miami turns into the Spurs offensively, like in the playoffs. Like their ball movement and like they have beautiful offensive basketball. That's why they can insert guys, right? Like we had like Caleb
Martin, Jaime Jaquez, all those guys.
Doesn't matter
Max Struss,
Max Struss, and Gabe Vincent.
They can insert guys like that, and then if they know the system, like their offense is beautiful. It is, and like the Nuggets, they have a beautiful offense that's like J-Mo said, they got a plan A, plan B, plan C. You know why? Because there are a lot of actions. There's actions going on up top, actions going on like under the basket. There's so much going on, and one mistake off ball, somebody's wide open. So, and then if that don't work, shot clock going down, give it to Jamal Murray, and he can just go to work. That's or give it to Jokic in the high post, and they're going to double because they're not going to play Jokic one-on-one. They're going to double Jokic. It's going to open up a lane for somebody. Like these guys are in sync. So that when the Celtics, everything is pick and roll one-on-one. Literally, like everything is pick and roll one-on-one. And create a mismatch. That's what the Celtics try to do. They try to get more zingers in the mismatch and the high post. Right? They create a one-on-one situation with Jaylen Brown in the pick and roll with the mismatch. Same thing with Tatum. That's all they do. When the Nuggets can do that, and they have a more fluent offense. So, and the physicality with Miami against the Celtics, they are physical with the Celtics. The Nuggets showed that yesterday. They were so physical yesterday.
So what you're saying the Nuggets is about the plan A, B, and C. They create the mismatch for the off-ball mismatch.
Yeah, for real. Mm-hmm. Like the Spurs, like you said, like the Spurs. Man. Or the Warriors. Or the Kings.
We just had to throw that in there, huh?
Like the beam, by the way. Shout out to the Spurs. Without Wemby, went down to the wire. Told y'all, bro, we play these bad teams, bro. We just it went down to the wire.
We need one. We need one. Come on, Wizards. We just need one. We just need one.
Don't lose this one, please.
If the Pistons can do it, we can do it, man. Shout out to Cave.
And they did it in Sacramento too. The Pistons.
Man,
they beat it at home. We are good on the road, Tomo. On the road,
that's the one I know. The last time y'all played us, and they kept doing that zone.
Yeah. Even at home, we y'all played us last time. It was a close game.
Good on the road as long as it's not Miami.
And y'all know what Miami doing. They put the curfews up for spring break.
Y'all caught us in the slump though. Y'all was in the slump too. Y'all was in the 7-game losing streak.
Exactly.
Y'all was desperate. That's how it's Miami game.
But
tell them about these chats, Dave.
Man, as Joe said, if you want to know what meme he was talking about earlier, you got to join the chat. So, if you're watching now and you're